Happy Friday and welcome back to 5 Minute Friday. Before we jump in, as we head into Memorial Day weekend, I want to pause for just a moment to honor the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice and service to our country. More than 1.1 million Americans have died in the line of duty, and the freedoms we enjoy, including the ability to build wealth and plan our future, exist because of that sacrifice. We are deeply grateful. All right, let's get into this week's 5 Minute Friday. If you've been watching the headlines lately, you've probably seen these. Rate hikes are back. The Fed may not be done. Inflation is sticky. Right on schedule, 8 times per year, the Federal Reserve released its latest meeting minutes. And the big takeaway caught a lot of people off guard. With inflation ticking back up to about 3.8%, a majority of policymakers said they were prepared to raise rates again if prices don't cool. Cue the scary music. But here's what rarely makes the headlines. The financial media loves to treat every Fed meeting like a high stakes poker game. But in reality, the Fed adjusts interest rates all the time. Let's put this into perspective. Since 1955, the Federal Reserve has changed interest rates over 300 times, roughly 170 hikes, about 165 cuts, and plenty of periods where they did nothing. This isn't an emergency level. This isn't an emergency lever. It's a routine maintenance. And while borrowing costs are often described as historically high, the current federal funds rate around 3.5 to 3.75% is actually below the long-term historical average of about 4.6%. In other words, what feels dramatic in the headlines is often just normal economic weather. Here's the part that really matters, especially if you're in or near retirement. At Five Stone Financial Group, we talk a lot about building a plan that's designed for reality, not perfection. Persistent inflation, changing interest rates, market noise, that's not a flaw in the system. That's exactly why a real retirement income plan is built the way it is. In our Back Nine blueprint, we separate money by job or intention for that money. A growth bucket designed to own great businesses with the ability to raise prices and outpace inflation over time. An income reserve designed to support near-term lifestyle needs so you're not forced to react to whatever the Fed does next month. When your short-term income isn't dependent on short-term market behavior, you gain something incredibly valuable: calm. You don't have to panic, you don't have to guess, and you do not have to change your lifestyle every time the headlines change. As we head into the summer, barbecues, lake weekends, family gatherings, I want to leave you with something a little different. Summer is one of the best times to talk about legacy, but not in a stuffy, legal, conference room kind of way. Real legacy planning isn't about numbers first. It's about values, intent, and purpose. Instead of talking about accounts and documents, try this. Share the story of how you built what you have. Talk about the lessons you learned and the mistakes you made. Ask your adult children what they hope their future looks like. When these conversations happen naturally around a grill or a fire pit, they stop feeling heavy and start feeling meaningful. That's how you pass down more than money. That's how you pass down a playbook. If today's headlines have you wondering, is my plan really built for this? That's a healthy question. A real retirement plan isn't static. It's a living strategy that adapts as life and the economy changes. If you'd like a second opinion on how your plan handles inflation, interest rates, and retirement income, that's exactly the conversations we have every day at Five Stone Financial Group, and we'd love to help. Enjoy a grateful and meaningful Memorial Day weekend. We'll hopefully see you next Friday. This content is for educational purposes only and is not intended as personalized financial advice. Every situation is different, and a planning decision should be made based on your individual circumstances. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.